Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to another one in my Devon series. Today I'm in the town of Kingswear and I'm going to board the ferry, the pedestrian ferry, to get us across to the town of Dartmouth, which of course lies on the other side of the River Dart here. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to retrace the steps, literally, that I took when I shot my very first video here on West Country Wandering some 2.5 years ago. We'll also have a look at some other bits of Dartmouth and Kingswear which I've not previously shown on the channel as well. So I hope you can join me again here on West Country Wanderings, looking at both Kingswear and Dartmouth. There's an interesting blue plaque here in Dartmouth. Here was born one John Davis, and he explored much of China and Asia. And he was born in 1550 and died in 1605, but he sailed to find the northwest passage through China and discovered the Davis Strait, which of course was named after him. Dartmouth lad through and through. So it's good to be back on the promenade at Dartmouth again. This is of course the River Dart, which is tidal. Down that way is where I did another video down at Dartmouth Castle, because I've got my luggage with me today. I'm not doing much in terms of walking. I will head back into Kingswear to get my bus back to Paignton and then train home. But yeah, wonderful here. So we got the other ferry, which I think is run by the Paignton and Dartmouth Steam Railway Company. They also have their steamer ship as well, and they also run their famous round robin. If you want to see a video about round robin, check out Louise's channel, Southwest Sundays, because she did a really excellent video looking at the round robin, where you go up to Totnes and then boat back around to Paignton and steam trains as well. It's a really fun experience. But yeah, she's done an excellent video on that. So that's looking back towards Kingswear again. I'm going to head further into town now to see if I can retrace my steps, looking for those steps where I started West Country Wanderings 2.5 years ago. I always think of Dartmouth as being a late town. What I mean by that, it's now 10:15 and it's very quiet, and it doesn't get busy here till about 11 o'clock. regardless of what time of year it is, whether it's a summer, autumn or winter, it doesn't pick up till later on. So because I've arrived here earlier, it's really good to be able to enjoy it without the crowds at the moment. So this is the famous Kingswear Castle paddle steamer. I put up some facts and figures running along the bottom of the screen now about when it was built and when it was acquired by the Painted and Dartmouth Steam Railway Company. But it's a welcome addition to more steam, not just steam trains that you see on the other side of the river, but also this wonderful steam paddle ship, which actually, to be honest, holds more of an interest to me than the steam trains. That's a wonderful sight, isn't it? I think they're getting ready to board passengers for the day, heading up, I think, to Dartmouth. And another ferry you can do from here is the ferry that starts at 10 a.m. in the morning and takes you down to Dartmouth Castle. It's £3 each way. I couldn't go without mentioning Rockfish, which is their original store, shop, whatever you want to call it, restaurant. And the owner of this, Mitch Tonks, actually lives in Brixham, and he was a regular customer where I lived, or rather worked in Brixham as well. There are now a number of these dotted around the south coast, including in Brixham itself, as well as Plymouth and Exmouth, and I think Weymouth. The Cardiff Castle, Dartmouth riverboats. The steam train is just running around its train on the other side of the river as well, which I did show how that happens in a previous video here on West Country Wanderings. Just check out my Devon playlist, I'm sure you'll find it from there. Splendid sightseeing, Kingswear Castle there. What a beautiful ship that is, paddle steamer. And the ferry going past, taking you back to Kingswear. Now this behind me here is Dartmouth Station, which I did do a video about as well. I think you'll find that in my railway playlist, because it's the only railway station, I think, in the entire world that doesn't have a platform and has never seen a train. It was only built as a port, or should I say quayside, for the ferry, which was owned by the GWR and sell their tickets so you could get across to Kingswear and then onto the main line and the GWR network. But yeah, it's unique in that sense. And also, since I made that video, it looks like it's changed again. It was the Champagne Bar, very, very posh, when I was last here. It's now called the All Day Dining and Banquet Bistro. An alternative name is La Therese, not sure which is the correct one. We're now going to enter the gardens. I always love that. This is a coach stop here, isn't it? They don't have a coach station or even a bus station in Dartmouth, which I was surprised by the sheer number of people that arrive by bus and coach, but it is devoid of one of those. Used to have a bus depot as well, but I saw on Facebook that's sadly closed. But these gardens are always really magnificent. We've got the bandstand coming up, and I think I included in one video somebody playing in the open there here when I was last here some 2.5 years ago. It's really odd feeling being back here again after all that time. And yeah, it is a wonderful place, and if you come in July and August it can be a little bit overwhelming, a bit like St Ives, but no such problem here today. This is one of my favourite things in Dartmouth, and this is called Pescatore, which has been here since 1960. A wonderful Italianate statue feature here in the gardens. Good too as well to see the water feature going. That's great. So this is it. This is the steps. I do remember choosing the piece of music, and it was called Large Smile Mood by Nico Staff, which you can find on the YouTube library. But yes, this is where I did my first piece to camera. In fact, I did a clip with the camera just going up the steps, did a piece to camera at the top, and I did remember feeling really nervous when I did that. I did a piece to camera in the apartment where I was living at the time in Dartmouth, because it's very difficult to being very different, should I say, to when you're actually out in the open air doing it. But yeah, this is the first time. Let's just go and have a look. Now, this is called Browns Hill, by the way, as well. So yeah, this is just up here. Yes, I remember when I was doing that original piece to camera, I was talking about the ponies that would come up there carrying the goods into the town, because this area here and above was the main part of Dartmouth before it expanded outwards and uphill towards Townsville, which we didn't have there. As I know there's loads of new houses around where Sainsbury's is at the top of the town. None of that existed then. But yeah, so they would come up here, and obviously goods would have been brought in up the River Dart and then unloaded at the quayside, and then all the supplies taken up here. I also remember going back to February of 2020 when I was doing that video clip, that these steps were very wet. It had rained overnight. And I remember doing the piece to camera thinking, oh crikey, it'd be really good if I slip up now in my very first video. But yeah, I just remember choosing that piece of music and doing the first bit of editing as well. It really brings back memories, and that was the very first video that I did here on YouTube. I'll put a clip of it now so you can see it, but I went up there as well. So I say there, that's Browns Hill. I think that's called Brown Step, and we've got Clarence Hill here as well, but we'll just carry on up this way. It surprises me that not many tourists that visit the town venture to look at these steps, and I find them interesting with you've got these wonderful marks on the tiles and bricks that we use, that lovely yellow coloured stone that was used. It was almost reminiscent of where I live now in the Cotswolds, but yeah, it's really interesting to see that. Got another set of steps up here as well. I think I did a piece to camera there. I think around here there was a blue plaque telling me about a car manufacturer that had a car factory in Dartmouth. I can't seem to find it at the moment because I can't remember the details about that, but they did make cars here in Dartmouth at the turn of the century before last. Yes, there's a blue plaque, and it was Henry James Inder that built the first steam-powered car in 1898 here in Dartmouth. He was born in 1871, and he founded the first motorworks here in Dartmouth in 1909. So there's our steps again. I'm currently standing in Clarence Hill, and that rail there you see going down the steps, that's Browns Hill, and it was around that area there. Was it my first piece to camera? Of course, the channel has changed a lot since those early days. I was just really finding my way. It was all about doing short walks and exploring local history. It's now diversified with my railway series and my Lost Railway walks, and looking at heritage lines for my canal series, and longer walks like the Seven Way, Cotswold Way, and also coastal walks as well. So yes, it's undergone many changes, and it feels quite different to those first faltering days in February 2021 here in Dartmouth. I always used to love this street at Christmas time because it was always the most decorated street in Dartmouth, with wonderful decorations, and it had a white theme to it. Very Dickensian as well. It's good to see that the marketplace area, the original marketplace here in Dartmouth, is still bustling with cafes and antique shops and other assorted independent shops too. So this is St Saviours Church in Dartmouth. Dartmouth's actually got two main Church of England churches. Have this one, we've also got the one at the hill at Townstall. But this is well worth looking in. Let's go and have a look. If you ever come to Dartmouth on a visit, it's always well worth looking at the spectacular upper stories of all the properties line the main Fall Street here. And on the building there, you can make out some of the names. We've got Davis, who we covered. He was the explorer around China. We've got Newcomen, who is famous for the steam engine, of course, Sir Walter Raleigh, Guy de Brion, Hawley, Drake and Flavel, to name but a few. And this is Fairfax Place, currently Dartmouth trading underneath it, but look at that sloping upper story. So we're now heading down Raleigh Street, one of these cavernous, really narrow streets, not used for vehicles anymore. It's good to be away from the traffic, but it's got now surrounded by restaurants, high-end restaurants, and also a water sports kind of department store for all things to do with paddleboarding and canoes as well. But yeah, I've always liked this street here in Dartmouth, and it doesn't seem to have changed its atmosphere at all, which is really good to see. Now this is the wonderful Bayard's Cove Inn, just here on the right hand side. I can't remember the date it was exactly on, but I believe it's 14th century. Now if you're into your books at all, like I am, you've got this wonderful second-hand bookshop here called Compass Books. You want to find history books on Devon, books about maritime ships and boats. This is the place to come. Walking along the Cobbery Bayard's Cove, much beloved by television location seekers, because this is where they once filmed the Aneirin Line. More recently they filmed a detective series, a rather excellent but not that well known detective series, and I remember seeing them filming here when I was living in Dartmouth, and that was The Coroner. It's worth checking out if it turns up. So I think it appears on, it was a BBC production, drama department in Birmingham, but it often appears on like the drama TV channel. But nearly all of it was filmed in and around the South Hams, and a little bit over at Berry Head on the other side in nearby Torbay as well. Now this is Castle House Steps, one of the oldest series of steps here in Dartmouth, because of it led right down to Bayard's Cove and the little quayside here where all the goods into the town would have once landed. I hope you've enjoyed this return here to Dartmouth, looking at where West Country wanderings began. There'll be other videos popping up from Devon and Cornwall, indeed all the areas I cover here on West Country Wanderings here on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it today. I'd love to know what you think. If you've got any memories of Dartmouth as well and surrounding areas, I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to close the video now with some shots around Kingswear. I'll be able to get some shots of some steam trains leaving the station, which are heading back to Paynton. Till next time, take care of yourselves, look out for yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.